with radioactivity. So most of the radioactive contamination comes by touch. Okay? Most of it, if somebody, so if anyone is contaminated, what do? We isolate him, we put him in quarantine till we manage to get rid of him, okay? Or get rid of his radioactivity. So charged particles from the sun, the same concept here. When the sun is moving from the rays are coming, it's gamma rays. Sun has gamma rays, has X-rays, everything. When it's coming on the way, it charges the dust particles. So if it becomes too much, these dust particles can be radioactive. So at the same time, this has to do a lot with the magnetic field of the Earth. The magnet of the Earth attracts this radiation down. The amount of cosmic radiation varies in different parts of the world. If you are living near the equator, near the middle of the Earth, you have more sun. If you are living in the north part, Greenland, for example, or Denmark, or whatever, you have less. Fair enough? So the more you are near to the sun, that's why we said in these types of sun, don't expose yourself more than 5 minutes. Did any one of you suffer a heat stroke before or a sunstroke? I do a lot. Yes, because here, for example, I can, after I move from one place to another when it's 45 or 50, I have sometimes to park the car and move. In this 5 minutes or 4 minutes, I become exhausted. This is, we call it heat exhaustion. It's sort of rays that enter my body and make me tired. Why? Because it consumes part of my energy. Okay? So again, these are things that we need to know and protect ourselves from. So this is the natural occurring. First one is cosmic rays. As I told you, radon, which is a byproduct of the breakdown of uranium and plutonium, it's a gas, and that's why everybody we inhale it. It's in the atmosphere. The more I'm near to these areas, for example, if you see the movie of Chernobyl or the series of Chernobyl, you will see that most of the casualties were happening because the Russians at that time constructed a city for the families near the reactor. So people working in the reactor in Chernobyl, they used to live 5 kilometers away from the reactor. So all of them were affected to some extent, depending on how near they were. But at the same time, the nuclear safety now mandates, if you go to our nuclear reactor here, Baraka, you will see that people only live there and they are not allowed for families. People that work there live there just for the amount of work. They work for 2 weeks and they work 2 weeks off or from home. Okay? These 2 weeks we give it for healing. During the weeks that they are not working, they are not allowed to stay near the reactor or even in the area that's for area. Why? This is a safety parameter as well. The more far you are, the less exposure and the less headache you have. And that's why, that's the concept that we have in the isolation of the storage of radioactivity. Fair enough? No need for radioactivity exposure, don't be there. The least amount of people who do the work, this is mainly because of the radon. Banana, as we said, if you eat banana, all of us eat banana, so we have radioactive potassium inside us. If we smoke, it increases, and so on. So, terrestrial radiation. Radioactive material is found in nature, in oil, in water, in soil, in digging for oil and gas, in vegetation. Most of the vegetables and fruits, they absorb the radioactivity from the soil while they are taking the nutrients. But how come? Part of the sodium and potassium and nitrogen that they take is radioactive, and that's why they become radioactive. We eat them, the radioactivity from the food, from cucumber, gets inside our body. Okay? It doesn't have to be serious. Fine. Important radioactive elements from uranium and thorium, as I told you, was radon. Radon gas is the radioactive product of uranium, can be inhaled, and this can enter inside our body. Okay? Fair enough. Internal radiation. What is internal radiation? People are exposed to radiation from a radioactive material that they eat or consume or drink or smoke. Besides radon, potassium-40, you can have a lot of it due to eating banana, eating vegetables, and whatever, have lots of potassium. Uranium and thorium can be present, but very, very minimal amount, less traceable, yani. The amount of radiation from potassium-40 does not vary much from one person to another because it's mainly coming from food, but exposure from radon varies, as I told you, from one place to another. If you are near a nuclear facility or a nuclear, let me say, mine, you will be having more radon in the soil, and that's consequently people at the same time. United States, because they have been using the radioactive technology from very, very long days, okay, we can say 55% of the radiation exists there because of two things. Because of the amount of raw material radioactive that you have, at the same time from the activities that they have done. They have done lots of nuclear experiments, and nuclear experiments have leaked radioactive isotopes to the environment and to the atmosphere that will not disperse easily. It might take hundreds of years. Fair enough. These are the things that we see. Natural gas, it's coming from inside of the earth, radioactivity. Gas lantern, which we also light the lanterns with. Medical diagnosis, X-ray. Building material, cement, concrete, paint. We are here, if we measure the radioactivity, we'll have micro rads or very, very small amounts in this building material. This is all coming from the earth, yes? Whether it's bricks, whether it's cement, whether it's paint, all of it have natural ingredients that was radioactive. Radioactivity does not go away quickly, so it will be radioactive. If you are working on coal, new nuclear reactors, and of course smoking tobacco. Smoking tobacco, you are taking a plant, drying it, which have radioactive material, and then you are inhaling by eating. You are also having higher radioactivity than it. So, concrete, brick, natural stone, gyps, granite, any naturally occurring stone or material is having radioactivity. This will does not need any panic from our side. It just needs to be known that we know that. Fine. These ones decay, leading to radon gas, as we said. Radioactive consumer products, tobacco contains small amount of radioactive material. Smoking lets radon inside the body, and that's why could be one of the reasons that lead to malignant diseases